Have you ever heard of a king who was gifted with unmatched wisdom, yet ultimately fell because of his desires? This is the story of Solomon, the son of David, a king who rose to greatness but allowed his heart to wander from God. He became known as the wisest, richest, and most powerful king of ancient Israel. Solomon built Israel into a powerful and prosperous nation, but he also strayed from God's commands, which led to his downfall. Despite being gifted with wisdom, he allowed his desire for women and alliances to overshadow his devotion to the Lord. Solomon's life serves as both an inspiration and a warning for us today, reminding us of the importance of seeking God above all else. God granted Solomon a unique gift, the gift of wisdom. When Solomon became king, he could have asked for anything, wealth, power, or long life, but instead he asked God for a discerning heart to govern the people of Israel. God was so pleased with Solomon's humility that he not only granted him wisdom, but also bestowed upon him great riches and honor. Solomon's wisdom became legendary, and his judgments were revered throughout the known world. He wrote profound words of wisdom in the books of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Songs, offering spiritual insights and guidance that still resonate with us today. But even with all this wisdom, Solomon had a great weakness: his love for women. His heart was captivated by foreign women, and he formed political alliances by marrying princesses from Egypt, Moab, Ammon, Edom, and Sidon. His harem grew to include 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines. Each marriage brought new political alliances, ensuring peace and prosperity for Israel, but they also brought foreign gods and practices into Solomon's court, turning his heart away from the Lord. What began as a strategy for peace turned into a spiritual trap. In this video, we will explore Solomon's life, from his incredible gift of wisdom to his tragic fall from grace. Was he truly able to resist the temptations that surrounded him? What lessons can we learn from his life? And what were the consequences of his choices for Israel and for us today? Join us as we delve deeper into Solomon's story. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more biblical insights. Solomon's story begins in Jerusalem around 990 BC, where he was born to King David and Bathsheba. His name means peaceful and friend of God, yet his birth came out of a story of sin and redemption. Bathsheba had been married to Uriah the Hittite, a loyal soldier in David's army. David, succumbing to temptation, orchestrated Uriah's death after his affair with Bathsheba, attempting to cover up his sin. But God saw David's actions and brought judgment upon him by taking the life of the child born from this affair. In this painful moment, David turned back to God in repentance, and God showed mercy by blessing him with another son, Solomon. Solomon grew up under the tutelage of the prophet Nathan, who guided him in the ways of the Lord. Nathan saw great potential in Solomon and became a crucial figure in helping secure Solomon's place as the successor to King David. Solomon's path to the throne was not without challenges. When King David was on his deathbed, other sons vied for the throne. But through Nathan's influence and God's will, Solomon was chosen as king. David's dying words to his young son were filled with reminders to follow God's commands and to walk faithfully with him. Solomon, only about 15 years old when he took the throne, faced immediate challenges to his authority. He knew that his reign was surrounded by threats and potential conspiracies. Determined to secure his rule, Solomon dealt swiftly with rivals, including Adonijah, his older brother, and Joab, David's chief general, who had opposed Solomon's ascension. Solomon's early decisions established his authority and allowed him to begin building the kingdom his father had envisioned, a kingdom firmly grounded in peace and prosperity. One night, God appeared to Solomon in a dream and said, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Solomon, aware of his great responsibilities, replied, "Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong." God was pleased by Solomon's request, seeing that he sought wisdom over wealth or power. He promised Solomon not only a wise and discerning heart, but also riches and honor beyond any king before or after him. This divine encounter marked a turning point in Solomon's life, enabling him to lead Israel with wisdom and compassion. His judgments became famous throughout the land, and people traveled from distant realms to hear his words. One of the most famous examples of Solomon's wisdom was when two women came to him, each claiming to be the mother of the same child. Solomon proposed to cut the child in half, knowing that the true mother would reveal herself by sacrificing her claim to save her child. When one woman pleaded for the child's life, Solomon knew she was the true mother. His wise decision displayed God's wisdom working through him, and it brought peace and justice to Israel. With wisdom came the opportunity to build something lasting. Solomon set out to construct the first temple in Jerusalem, fulfilling a promise made to his father David. He sought help from Hiram, king of Tyre, to obtain the materials needed for the temple: cedar and cypress wood and skilled laborers. The construction of the temple took 7 years and was a marvel of craftsmanship and devotion. It became the spiritual center of Israel, a place where the people could come to worship the one true God. But as Solomon's kingdom grew, so did his appetite for wealth and luxury. For 13 years he built a magnificent palace for himself, complete with vast courtyards, elaborate halls, and lush gardens. His palace became a symbol of his power and wealth, and the splendor of Jerusalem grew. Yet amidst this prosperity, Solomon's heart began to drift. He allowed the influences of his many wives to lead him into idolatry. Altars to foreign gods such as Ashtoreth, Milcom, and Molech appeared throughout Israel, challenging the worship of the God of Israel. God, seeing Solomon's straying heart, sent a warning. Because Solomon had not kept his commandments, the kingdom would be torn from his lineage. God declared that after Solomon's death, Israel would be divided, and much of the kingdom would be given to a rival. Though the punishment would not come in Solomon's lifetime, the seeds of division were already sown. Solomon's actions had consequences that would outlive him, leading to a fractured nation. In his later years, Solomon recognized the emptiness of his pursuits. He wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, reflecting on the vanity of life apart from God. Meaningless, meaningless, everything is meaningless, he lamented, acknowledging that all the riches, wisdom, and pleasures of the world could not bring lasting satisfaction. His writings teach us that true fulfillment is found only in seeking God and following his ways. The lessons of Ecclesiastes remind us that our lives have purpose when we place God at the center, and that the pursuit of worldly desires leads only to emptiness. As Solomon's life came to an end, he returned to God with a repentant heart, recognizing his failings and the impact of his choices. Though he had allowed idolatry to enter his kingdom, he realized that only God could give meaning to life. Solomon's reign lasted 40 years, and he died knowing that his kingdom would face division. But he also left behind a legacy of wisdom and a powerful reminder of the importance of faithfulness. After Solomon's death, his son Rehoboam inherited a kingdom on the brink of civil war. The divisions that had taken root during Solomon's later years led to the kingdom's fracture, fulfilling the prophecy given by God. Yet, Solomon's story did not end in despair. His writings continue to inspire those who seek wisdom, and his life serves as a reminder of God's mercy and the power of repentance. Despite his mistakes, Solomon's journey shows us that God's grace is always within reach for those who turn back to him. Solomon's story contains one more mysterious detail: a legend from apocryphal writings that speaks of a magical ring, the Ring of Solomon, said to have been given to him by the archangel Michael. This ring supposedly gave Solomon the power to control demons, using them to build the temple and accomplish great feats. While not part of the biblical narrative, this story reflects the awe and fascination that people have held for Solomon's unique role as a king who walked the line between wisdom and temptation. Through Solomon's life, we see a powerful example of how wisdom and devotion can bring prosperity, but also how turning away from God can lead to spiritual decline. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of King Solomon, a story that showcases both great wisdom and deep lessons. As we reflect on Solomon's ascent to power and his eventual downfall, we are reminded of the importance of keeping our hearts aligned with God's purpose. His life stands as a powerful lesson against letting worldly desires eclipse our spiritual devotion. True wisdom comes not from the accumulation of knowledge, but from seeking God's will and following his guidance in our daily lives. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring biblical insights and stories that will help deepen your faith. May the wisdom of God lead you through all of life's challenges, and may you always find strength in His constant, unwavering love.